Hi everyone, I am JT Pilot, and today I'll be making another video. This time I'll be doing a random model airport update of my San Diego 1/4 scale model airport. Yes, this is the first random model airport update, and this is the first update for August of 2022. And yes, there'll be a couple more of these random model airport updates throughout this month. And yes, today we'll be doing San Diego. And yes, this is such a great airport to do. This is an airport that I've been wanting to do for a while. And yes, I did do a poll on Instagram. And yes, and this is the airport that won the poll by a substantial lead. It was around 80% of y'all voted for me to do a certain model airport update, and today we'll be doing a San Diego model airport update. And yes, so this will be similar to the New York LaGuardia update, meaning this update will be split up into 3 parts. We'll go to Terminal 1 aircraft first, then we'll move on to Terminal 2, and then we'll move on to some taxiing aircraft. So before we start the video, I'm going to be giving some information about San Diego International Airport. This is a airport that's based out of San Diego, California. This is one of the busiest airports in California, and this is the #1 airport for the San Diego metro area. And yes, this airport has the famous runway 27, and with the famous approach by aircraft pilots, and the approach goes right over downtown San Diego, and it's fairly low for approach, and yes, this airport is very famous for that. This is an airport that has a Southwest focus city and a Alaska Airlines focus city. And there is such a huge presence of Southwest aircraft, and there's lots of Southwest models in the update, and there's lots of Alaskan Airlines models in this update as well. We'll get that when we get that. Yeah, so San Diego is an international airport, has a variety of flights ranging from Hawaii all the way to Switzerland. San Diego does contain a lot of interesting airlines and routes, and yes, there will be a lot to go over in this airport update. And the ICO designation for this airport is Kilo Sierra Alpha November, or KSAN. That is the airport code for this airport. I forgot to mention that earlier in this video. So all these aircraft will be realistic for the most part. There is a couple of substitutions for models here and there, but other than that, this will be a 1-to-1 realistic airport update. And to my best of my ability, I don't have a custom mat or custom terminals for this model airport because that would cost too much money. And yes, these random model airport updates are just one-off videos. I'll just be doing these airport updates just once in a while. So now let's proceed on to the overview of Terminal 1 at my San Diego model airport. Alright, so moving on to the layout for Terminal 1 at my San Diego model airport. And so here is Terminal 1 at my San Diego model airport. So Terminal 1 at San Diego model airport is split up into 2 sections. There's the eastern side right here, and here is the western side right here. And so Terminal 1 is mainly served by Southwest Airlines, but Spirit, Frontier, and Sun Country also serve this section. So this is basically the low-cost terminal, pretty similar to Terminal 2 at my Jacksonville Fictional airport. So pretty cool resemblance there. It almost looks identical to that. But getting off subject. Anyways, JetBlue and Allegiant used to serve this terminal, but now they have moved over to Terminal 2. We'll represent that later on in this video. Hint, Terminal 2 is way more exciting. That is the part that I'm most excited to make. So I cannot wait to get to that section. Anyways, so Southwest Airlines does have a focus city at this airport. Not a big focus city, but they do have a big presence at San Diego. So here is the eastern terminal at San Diego. This consists of 8 gates on this section. Then there's a little extension right here where there's another gate, and there's a hard stand right there. I cannot represent the hard stand just because I would have to edit my mat, and I don't want to edit my beautiful layouts mat. So because that layover layouts mat is solely reserved for my Jacksonville Fictional airport date. I would love to get some more layover layouts mats, but that would cost me too much money. But man, it would be great for some of my other airports. Anyway, so there's a walkway right here, and then we have the main terminal building right there, which connects to the main road. And then there's another terminal extension right there, and this building right here will continue on to Terminal 2, but I cannot represent that because that would take up too much space. And then here at the western side of Terminal 1, and this has Southwest Airlines on the right side, and then Spirit, Frontier, and Sun Country serve the left side right there. And so this is where Allegiant and JetBlue used to fly out of. They used to fly out of these gates right here, but Southwest Airlines did take over those gates recently, so pretty exciting news indeed, because Southwest Airlines is one of my favorite airlines, so there you go. So that's it for the layout of Terminal 1 at my San Diego model airport. Let's move on to some aircraft now. Model aircraft now. And yes, before we move on, I do want to mention that all these flights will be realistic in this airport update. All the flight numbers are realistic. It's just the model aircraft may be slightly unrealistic for certain routes. But yeah, but hint, hint, all the state layoffs are realistic because these free sailors right here did come in. And they did come in today, Friday, August 12th of 2022. And yes, this airport day is based off of Friday, August 12th of 2022. It's mainly based off the morning hours, but I did throw in some afternoon flights just to add a little bit more diversity with the routes. So nonetheless, we'll be moving on, starting off the first aircraft in Terminal 1 at my San Diego Model Airport. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Alright, so starting with the very first aircraft in my San Diego Model Airport update. Yeah, so we start off with the Southwest Airlines section. So, yeah, so nonetheless, here we have the Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Heart Livery blended wings number 950 Whiskey November, the Waffle Collectibles exclusive. So this aircraft just arrived in from San Jose, one of several San Jose flights that'll be in this airport today. And this aircraft will be heading out to Tucson in Arizona at Southwest Flight 2533. And this is a continuation flight, so, which means this aircraft is riding from San Jose, and some passengers will be continuing on to Tucson. So, yes, that is a little Southwest technique that Southwest Airlines uses on some of their flights. And I've been on one of this continuation flight, and it is very convenient. Yes, it means you don't have to make a connection, get off the aircraft, and transfer to a different aircraft. You can just stay on the same aircraft and continue on to Tucson. So, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, so getting back to that San Jose flight. So there is several California flights at this airport, and they have high frequencies, including the Sacramento route, the San Jose route, Oakland route, San Francisco route. And yeah, yeah, all those flights have a really high frequency rate just because those are some of the Southwest busiest routes. So, yeah, so there you go. So pretty cool sight to see there. All right, so speaking of California, here are the Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the beautiful California 1 livery. This is that beautiful painted model, and hopefully Angels will release this model soon with the updated skimmers. I would definitely buy it. So this aircraft did come in today at Southwest Flight 126 from Las Vegas, and you'll be heading out to San Jose, the reverse of the other flight, at Southwest Flight 2028. So, yeah, those are some exciting flights right there, especially the Las Vegas flight. So, there you go. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Heart livery. This is that Gemini Jet's release. That's a Gemini Jet's 2015. This is just an okay model. I'm just glad to have it because it's such a rare model. So this aircraft just arrived in from Sacramento at Southwest Flight 1515. It'll be continuing on to Austin in Texas. All right, so moving on to the next aircraft. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-800 Heart livery split skimmer. That beautiful NG model's first release. And man, it is such a great NG model. And I cannot wait to get the new NG Southwest Heart 747-800 very soon, likely next week. So yeah, stay tuned for Massive Unboxing 4. So yeah, Southwest promotion there. Anyways, so this Southwest 747-800 has just arrived in from San Jose at Southwest Flight 997. It'll be heading out to Boise and Idaho at Southwest Flight 998. Yeah, it's another San Jose flight. That's pretty crazy to say indeed. And yes, most of these Southwest flights all had at least one California flight in the flight number. So pretty crazy to say. So yeah. All right, moving on to the next model. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-800 in the King Blue Livery blended wing. That's that beautiful NG model's August 2020 release. It's crazy to say this model is already 2 years old, and I'm so glad to have this rare model. So, yeah, so this Southwest 747-800, we'll see, is just arriving from San Francisco at Southwest Flight 2118, and we'll be heading out to Dallas Love in Texas. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Louisiana 1 livery. So once again, this aircraft did perform this flight today, and is currently active as the time of filming this video on the flight out. So anyways, this Southwest 747-700 in the Louisiana 1 livery has just arrived in from San Jose at Southwest Flight 3119, and you'll be heading out to Oakland at Southwest Flight 2357. Sorry about that. Anyways, moving on to the next aircraft. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-MAX 8. This will be performing a pretty cool flight. So this Southwest 747-MAX 8 has arrived in from Sacramento at Southwest Flight 3021, and you'll be heading up to Honolulu at Southwest Flight 2688. Yes, I'm doing a Southwest Focus Day in California. Of course, I have to include a Hawaiian route. That is so cool how Southwest Airlines are flying to Hawaii. Yeah, I'm glad that's been working out pretty well for Southwest Airlines. It was a big achievement once they started flying to Hawaii, and glad these Maxes are back to help supplement their growth to Hawaii. So, yeah. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. Here is Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Heart livery split skimmers number 7855 Alpha. This is a beautiful RM second release. This Southwest 700 has arrived in from Oakland at Southwest Flight 481 and be continuing on to Nashville at Southwest Flight 481. That's it for all the aircraft in the east side of Terminal 1. Let's move on to the west side of Terminal 1. All right, moving on to the western side of my Terminal 1 at my San Diego Model Airport. Starting with some more Southwest aircraft, here we Southwest Boeing 747-700 Indy Harley with split skimmer wing. That's number 963 Whiskey November. This aircraft has just arrived in from St. Louis, and he'll be heading out to El Paso at Southwest Flight 61, and he'll be continuing on to El Paso. So there you go. All right, moving on to your next aircraft. This is the highly beautiful Southwest Boeing 747-700 Indy Missouri one with split skimmers. I am so glad I'm able to use this beautiful model in this airport. This is my second favorite model, just behind the NG Miles Maryland one. Man, NG Miles really did a great job with this model. It's just pure perfection. I've been wanting this model since day one of collecting model aircraft. So glad NG Miles has released it finally. So yeah, so this Southwest 747-700 in Missouri one livery. We'll say he has just arrived in. He's just arrived in from El Paso, Southwest Flight 2741 to the inverse of that flight. He'll be heading out to Sacramento, and these are realistic flights just because Missouri one did come into San Diego today. So really exciting news indeed. All right, moving on to your next aircraft. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. All right, so moving on to your next aircraft. Here's the highly beautiful Southwest Boeing 747-700 Indy King Blue with split skimmers, number 252 Whiskey November. And yes, this is the exact same aircraft, and yet with the exact same registration, configuration, and all. It has just performed this flight today in San Diego. So this aircraft has just arrived in from Oakland at Southwest Flight 55 and be continuing to Phoenix Sky Harbor. And yes, this exact same aircraft did this flight today. So this is the fourth aircraft in this airport day that's 100% realistic for today's airport day. So really exciting news indeed. I'm so glad we're able to use this model. The first time this has ever happened in an airport update. So where I used the exact same registration for a non-special aircraft and that has actually flown to the airport on the day of filming an airport day. So really exciting news indeed. All right, moving on to your next model. Here we Southwest Boeing 747-800 in the Harley with split skimmer wing. This is the third NG Miles release. And once again, I am very excited for the fourth NG Miles release. So this Southwest 747-800 has arrived in from Chicago Midway at Southwest Flight 742 and be heading out to Baltimore at Southwest Flight 767. Pretty cool flight number there. And there's just some pretty cool destinations there. All right, moving on to the next model. Here we Southwest Boeing 747-700 in the Harley with split skimmer wings, or 963 Whiskey November. And yeah, so this aircraft is arriving from Sacramento at Southwest Flight 2477 and we continue on to Denver. All right, moving on to the next model. Here we Sun Country Boeing 747-800. And yeah, so this aircraft is arriving from Minneapolis and we'll be heading right back out there at Sun Country Flight 408. So this is a ship of this engine model, which is number 832 Sierra Yankee. Did operate this flight today, so yes, this is number 830 Sierra Yankee. So pretty cool we were able to create a Sun Country model in a random airport update. Because these Sun Country models are really only featured in my Jacksonville Fictional airport updates, so just because Sun Country doesn't really serve too many destinations compared to other airlines, so yeah, pretty unfortunate there. Hopefully we'll be able to use this beautiful engine model soon, so yeah. Alright, moving on to some more models here. So, starting with the next model here is Spirit Airlines Service A321-200. So, yes, this is the sole Spirit Gate airport update, and yes, I did feature two Spirit aircraft just to feature all the routes. So, yeah, so this Spirit A321 has arrived in from Las Vegas and be heading right back out there at Spirit Flight 788. And moving on to the final aircraft in Terminal 1, here we Frontier Airbus A320 and the Champ the Bronco livery. I'm really hoping engine models release some more Frontier models because, man, this Gemini model really isn't too good, so pretty unfortunate. So, this Frontier A320 has arrived in from Denver and be heading right back out there as Frontier Flight 550. So that's about the aircraft in Terminal 1. Let's move on to the overview of Terminal 2, which is the most highly anticipated section of this video. Alright, so moving on to the overview of Terminal 2 at my San Diego 1-4 scale model airport. So yes, Terminal 2, just like Terminal 1, it's split up into two sections. We have the eastern side of Terminal 2, which houses Alaska Airlines and the American Airlines right here. Alaska Airlines does have a focus city at this airport, so pretty exciting to see. And yeah, they have a really large presence. They have mainline operations and regional operations. Yes, I do have some Alaska regional aircraft over there, but they are in the American livery just because I don't have an Alaska E-175 yet. And I don't really have enough money right now to go out to buy the regular Alaska livery. I mean, I do have the money, but I just want to save some money to get some more exciting models. And you'll see that later on in the coming weeks. So, yeah, so this is the eastern side of Terminal 1. So, this mainly entails Alaska Airlines and American Airlines. And, yeah, between the east side and the western side of Terminal 2, we have a little connection piece right here. Where this is where JetBlue and Allegiant park. So, they used to park at Terminal 1, but they did not park over at Terminal 2. We have the JetBlue, yeah, we have one JetBlue gate and one Allegiant gate. That's just how that's how it is in real life. So pretty cool sight to see there. And then this is the western side of Terminal 2, which is the most highly anticipated part because this has lots of variety. We have Delta, United. We have all the international gates over here, which I want to go over here. So here are the international gates right here. Yeah, so this consists of around 4 gates, but Delta Airlines does use these gates as well. So yeah, so this is this one gate right here is the Hawaiian Airlines gate. There's also a couple airlines that use this gate, like British Airways and Lufthansa. So that's pretty exciting. These 2 gates right here are sometimes used by Delta, but WestJet and Air Canada does park here. So pretty cool sight to see. And here we have another international gate. This is where Japan Airlines parks and a couple of other international airlines like Lufthansa. So yeah, pretty cool there. Yeah, so these international gates are used by several airlines. So pretty exciting indeed. So yeah, these gates aren't designated for one airline; they are used by several other airlines. So yeah, San Diego is a slightly slot restricted airport. So yeah, and in this section of the airport, I do have the taxiways right here. The runway 27. So there you go. You can see some more international aircraft there. And once again, this is using the Jacksonville Fictional Airport mat, just because I want to have some sort of mat, and this airport won't be on a blank desk or table. So. And yes, man, this looks great. And yeah, so this is mostly realistic for Terminal 2. And I try to make this to my best of my ability. And yeah, I believe this is around a 29 gate terminal, so that is a lot of gates. And yes, there's lots of miles to get to in this section. So yeah, I'm gonna give you one more shot of overview at Terminal 2. Let's move on, and now let's move on to the Alaska Airlines section with some exciting Alaska Airlines aircraft and routes especially. So let's move on. All right, moving on to Terminal 2 at my 1/400 scale San Diego model airport. And yeah, so we'll start with the Alaska Airlines section, which will be featuring all of my Alaska Airlines models. So yeah, and then I did have to make 2 substitutions just because I don't have the starter model, which is the Alaska Airlines Embraer ERJ175. I do not have the new Gemini that's released yet, just because I want to save money, and B, I want to get more interesting 1/4 scale releases for the review, like an upcoming mod just pre-ordered for y'all, or /ordered. That should be arriving sometime next week, and I will be making a review for it. So yeah, so anyways, getting back to the airport update now. So here I have an American Eagle, cough cough. Actually, cough cough. So this will be actually operating for Alaska Airlines. So yes, this is a SkyWest one, so it kind of does go with this airport update. I believe, yeah, it goes with this airport update, but it's just in the wrong livery. So maybe there's just a little equipment change. Yeah, and the SkyWest is leasing a couple of American Eagle Embraer ERJ175 Alaska Airlines just for a couple of flights. So that's what we're just going to say with this. So anyways, this is Alaska Airlines Embraer ERJ175 has arrived from Santa Barbara as Alaska Flight 3403, be heading out to Fresno, California as Alaska Flight 3388. All right, moving on to the next aircraft here, the beautiful Alaska Airlines Boeing 747-900ER. And this is a flat-out amazing NG miles release. Yes, I did used to have a Gemini Jets version of this, but I did sell it to American Navigate just because I wanted to diversify my collection more. And it's just a duplicate model, so might as well just sell it. So I didn't need 2 Alaska 747-900ERs just because I was doing it at an East Coast airport. So yeah, so this Alaska 747-900ER has to ride in from Austin as Alaska Flight 222 and be heading out to Spokane, Washington as Alaska Flight 1. Pretty cool how we're able to include a Spokane flight and server update. All right, moving on to the next aircraft here, an American Eagle Embraer ERJ175, operating for Alaska Airlines today as for Alaska Flight 3380 with service out to San Luis Obispo. Yes, this is a pretty cool Alaska Airlines Embraer ERJ175 route to a random airport in California, so I wanted to include that route. And yes, that is part of Alaska Airlines' unique ERJ175 routes, and I did not know that airport nor city existed, so pretty cool to learn a new piece of information today. So there you go. All right, look at this lineup right here. Oh, great Alaska Airlines lineup. Yeah, Freya. Well, these are some of my most favorite Alaska Airlines models right here. Even the 4th one up there. These are some great Alaska Airlines models, all by NG models except for one. So yeah. So starting with the first aircraft, this is an Alaska Airlines Boeing 747-900ER and the beautiful one rollover that flat out amazing NG models release. Definitely one of my favorite models. It's sad how we're not able to use this model that much in my airport updates. This Alaska 747-900ER has arrived in from New York John Kennedy as Alaska Flight 393. Maybe heading out to Orlando MCO as Alaska Flight 760. So pretty cool how we were able to close those 2 flights there. And there's some transcon flights there too. Pretty cool to see. Moving on to the next aircraft. Here in Alaska, Boeing 747-900 in the beautiful / meaningful honoring those who serve livery. What a flat out amazing engine miles release and livery. I just love this. I just love how Alaska Airlines dedicates these beautiful liveries to the hardworking men and women in the serving the United States Armed Forces. This is great. Let's see. Anyways, this Alaska 747-800 has arrived from Honolulu as Alaska Flight 892. And you'll be heading out to KLUV as Alaska Flight 829. So pretty cool how we were able to see those 2 flights. Moving on to the next aircraft. Here with Alaska Airlines Boeing 747-900 without winglets in the non-ER configuration. Yeah, pretty cool how I'm able to include this beautiful Gemini Jets model. Besides the JC Wing scramble, this is actually a fairly decent Gemini release, and it's pretty cool how Gemini releases. Hopefully Angel will release it soon, because I'd definitely buy that version to replace this. I did request it to them, so we'll have to see if Angel will make it. Anyways, this Alaska 747-900, the non-ER configuration, has arrived in from Seattle as Alaska Flight 1380. As Alaska Flight 5580, be heading out to Port Vallarta as Alaska Flight 1482. Pretty cool. We're able to include an international flight. So sorry about the word hiccups there. All right, so moving on to some more Alaska Airlines aircraft. Here, the beautiful Alaska Airlines Boeing 747-900ER in the UNCF livery. Another beautiful engine was released, and another meaningful livery. Yeah, so this Alaska 747-900ER has arrived. We'll say this aircraft is riding from Seattle as Alaska Flight 1380, be heading up to Portland as Alaska Flight 582. So it's pretty cool we're able to see an Alaska Portland flight, because I don't really send much aircraft out to Portland, Oregon, just because I just really don't have an opportunity to. So I'm glad we're able to send another aircraft out to Portland. So pretty cool there. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. Here with the Alaska Airlines, we're going to zoom in a little bit. Here with the Alaska Airlines Boeing 747-800, and he's with the split skimmers, of course, that beautiful NG models, May 2020 release. Pretty crazy. I've had this model for 2 years. And yeah, so this Alaska 747-800, we'll say this aircraft has arrived from Kuala Kona as Alaska Flight 894, be heading up to Lihue as Alaska Flight 300. So pretty cool that we're able to include some more Alaska Airlines flights. So that's it for the beautiful Alaska Airlines section. Let's move on to the American Airlines section. All right, so proceeding on to the American Airlines section. So they do operate some more gates out of San Diego. They do have 2 gates around here. I did not include the 2 gates just because I don't have enough American Airlines aircraft for this airport update. I do have a big American fleet, but I don't have enough American A321s, which will be changing soon, because I will be getting that flagship value American A321 soon from Angel. That flat out amazing release, and I cannot wait to have that model. So yeah, yes, American Airlines at San Diego mainly sends the A321s to San Diego. That's about the only aircraft they send to San Diego, but they do have some 747-800 flights, which we will also represent. They also have an A321neo flight, but I was not able to include that aircraft just because I don't have the Gemini model. Hopefully Angel's releasing an American A320neo soon. I would definitely buy it. So anyways, this is American 747-800, the Gemini Jets 2015 release. We'll say it's just riding from Dallas Fort Worth and be hitting right back out there as an American Flight 1055. Alright, so speaking of American A321s, we actually have one this airport today. So here in the American Airlines, there was A320 Junior with Sharkless. This is a realistic flight for once with this model. So yeah. So this American A321 has arrived from Philadelphia and be heading right back out there as an AA Flight 1367. And moving on to the final aircraft in the American Airlines section, we'll zoom in better. Here are the American Airlines Boeing 747-800 with the new winglet logos. What a flat-out amazing engine release. I just love this model. And yeah, so this American 747-800 has arrived in from Chicago here and be heading right back out there as AA Flight 518. That's it for the American Airlines / Alaska Airlines section. Let's proceed on to the Allegiant section. All right, move on to the Allegiant / JetBlue Airlines section. So yes, they do operate out of Terminal 2 at the new extension piece. So they used to operate out of Terminal 1, but they have now moved over here. So pretty exciting news indeed. So yes, and we'll start with the solo Allegiant aircraft in this update. And yes, and Allegiant does serve San Diego, and they serve San Diego with some interesting destinations. Just like this is just a perfect perfect representation of Allegiant Airlines. They just fly to some of the most random airports possible and the most random routes possible. So yeah, so this Allegiant A320 has arrived from Las Vegas as Allegiant Flight 166. So that's not a random route. That's pretty good. That's a pretty normal route for a regular airline. And this Allegiant A320 will be heading out to Pasco as Allegiant Flight 174. Another really random route. Of course, I had to choose that one out of all the Allegiant San Diego routes because that's the most random one. So yes, once again, this Allegiant A320 is arriving from Las Vegas and he'll be heading out to Pasco. So pretty cool routes there. Moving on to the next aircraft here, the beautiful JetBlue Airlines. So it was A321 with a shooter in the present till that flat out amazing NG models July 2020 release. Once again, this model is 2 years old, so pretty crazy to say. So this JetBlue A321 with a shooter has arrived in from New York John F. Kennedy, making return flight out there as JetBlue Flight 190. So JetBlue does have a couple of other flights out of San Diego. They have a Fort Lauderdale flight, they have a Boston flight, and they have a Newark flight. They also have a couple of other seasonal flights, or suspended flights. So yeah, so once again, this JetBlue A320 has arrived A321 has arrived from New York John Kennedy. He'll be making a return flight out there. All right, so moving on to the western side of Terminal 1, which is the most highly anticipated section of this video, just because mainly of the international airlines. So we start off the part 1 section of Delta Airlines, because we're going to go all the way around the terminal. Yeah, so Delta Airlines does operate some gates out of this side, but they mainly operate out of the other side of Terminal to the west side. So, yes, and hopefully I didn't say Terminal 1 by accident. So anyway, so with the first aircraft, here we have Delta Airlines, there's A319-100. This is operating for an A320. Just because I don't have a Delta A320 model yet, just because the Gemini Air Classic versions are extremely rare. And I wouldn't buy an Air Classics model, and the Gemini one's too rare, so I'm just going to wait for engine models release an A320 from Delta Airlines. That will likely be coming soon. I would definitely buy that model. So anyways, this Delta A319 operating for an A320 has arrived in from Salt Lake City and be making a return flight out there. And yes, this would be a realistic substitution. I'm sure Delta Airlines has subbed this right on an A319 before, so yeah. All right, moving on to the next aircraft here. And yes, here we have the Delta Airlines Boeing 757-200 with the, yeah, and this is the Gen 1 configuration. This is a former Trans World Airlines aircraft, and yes, this will actually be doing a realistic route. So yes, this beautiful NG model. Man, I love this model. She really killed this model, and I'm so glad to finally have this beautiful NG model. And to have a Delta 757 at San Diego. It's the first first realistic airport day with the Delta 757-200. So, yes. So, anyways, this Delta 757-200 is operating a realistic route for New York John F. Kennedy and making a return flight out there as Delta Flight 350. So, yes, I'm just glad to see the Delta 757 fly to San Diego. So, yeah. And this is the only airline that operates a 757 to San Diego. So, pretty sad to say. But, yeah. Alright, so moving on to the United Airlines section, which is another beautiful section. There are some, yeah, this is fairly normal section at San Diego. One of the most kind of just meh sections, just because of this ununique routes. But this one is a pretty cool route here. So this is United Airlines 747 to Schmack City has arrived from Newark and be heading out right back out there as United Flight 353. Then moving on to our next aircraft, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Here we United Airlines Boeing 747-800. That interesting Gemini that's released with the high wings. Hopefully I'm able to get the NG released soon. So yeah, so this United 747-800 has arrived from Houston IAH and it'll be making a return flight out there as United Flight 2210. Alright, so moving on to some more United aircraft. So on the first aircraft, here we United Express Embraer ERJ-175. This is operating at an interesting route, so this is the interesting United route. So this aircraft has arrived from Los Angeles and it'll be making a return flight out there. Yes, there is a LAX flight at San Diego on United Airlines, a really short flight. This route will be ending soon, though, so yeah, kind of short-lived, but I mean, yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's operating on the ERJ-175, which is even more interesting. I would think it's operating on the CRJ-200, but nope, E-175. So yeah, pretty interesting there. All right, moving on to the next aircraft. Here for United Airlines, there was A319-100. That great Gemini that's released. It's actually a surprisingly great Gemini release. And yeah, hopefully Angel will release a United A320-200 soon in the Evolution. I'd definitely buy it. And yes, United Airlines does send the A320 to San Diego as well, so I really wanted to get that model as well. This United A319 has arrived in from San Francisco as United Flight 1201 and making a return flight out there. Alright, moving on to the next United aircraft and final United aircraft. Here, United Airlines Boeing 747-900ER with a split skimmer wingless in the Continental Go delivery. This aircraft is arrived in from Washington Dulles and making a return flight out there as United Flight 2282. Alright, so moving on to some more Delta Airlines aircraft. And yes, I told you we would get back to Delta Airlines section. So this Delta A320neo, that is right. This aircraft is arriving from Boston and making a return flight out there as Delta Flight 573 as a red-eye flight. And yes, a reason why I put this airport on my list of random airports is just because Delta Airlines sends the A320neo here, which is pretty cool. This is one of the few airports that receives it, so I'm so glad they include this aircraft in the random model airport update. Yeah, can't wait to see how many more. Can't wait to see how the Delta A320neo improves, expands over at Delta Airlines. I can't wait to see more of these A320neos flying over at Delta Airlines. So, yeah, so this aircraft will be heading out to Boston. So, pretty cool flight there. Alrighty, so sorry about that. Moving on to the next aircraft here, Delta Airlines, but 747-800. Yeah, there is plenty of these at San Diego. There's no 900 routes, which is pretty odd. It's similar to New York, LaGuardia, in that respective. So. Yeah, so this beautiful Delta Airlines went 747-800 by NG models. Another great NG models, and this one will be soon turning 2 years old, which is crazy to say. Yes, this Delta 747-800 is arriving from Seattle and making a return flight out there as Delta Flight 1334. And then moving on to the final Delta Airlines aircraft in this video. Here for Delta Airlines, there was A320-200, one of many that fly to San Diego per day. And yes, this aircraft is arriving from Atlanta. We'll be making a return flight out there as Delta Flight 820. Alright, so moving on to the next aircraft, and yes, indeed, this is a Japan Airlines Boeing 787-9. So yes, so San Diego has a wide variety of international airlines. They have British Airways, Lufthansa, Japan Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines, Edelweiss. They have a great variety of international airlines, and WestJet and Air Canada, can't forget them. So yes, and I have featured all of them except for Edelweiss. So yes, I will begin an Edelweiss A340 very soon, likely next week. So I did order them out for Jacksonville. Some other random airports I plan on doing very soon. So yes, I'm glad I'm able to use this Japan Airlines 787 in the first realistic airport update. I'm glad to use this one in a realistic airport update, the first time ever for this model. So that's what I want to say. Sorry about that. So this Japan Airlines 787 has arrived in from Tokyo, I believe, Tokyo Narita, as Japan Airlines Flight 65 and making a return to fly out there. So pretty cool. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here, a great view and a different shot for this WestJet Airlines, but in 737-800. This is that filed amazing engine, which will also be turning 2 years old soon. And yes, so this WestJet 737-800, we'll say this aircraft has just arrived in from Vancouver and be making a return flight out there as WestJet Flight 1763. It's pretty cool to have a Vancouver route in this airport today as well. So moving on to the next aircraft, we have another international aircraft here in the Air Canada Boeing 747-MAX 8. This aircraft has just arrived in from Toronto Pearson, making a return flight out there as Air Canada Flight 1092. And moving on to the final aircraft in Terminal 1, here are the Hawaiian Airlines Airbus A330-200 parked in the international gates. Yes, they do use this gate over here. They are, yes, of course, Hawaii is a domestic market for San Diego, but and this is a domestic flight, but they are parked in the international terminal mainly just because of the wide-body A330 is my guess. But anyway, so this Hawaiian A330 has arrived in from Honolulu and we making a return flight as Hawaiian Flight 15. So that's it for all the aircraft that are parked at the terminal. Let's move on to some taxiing aircraft. Alright, so moving on to some taxiing aircraft, and this is such a great shot right here. Here we have the Air Canada Express Bombardier / Mitsubishi CRJ-900. This aircraft is arriving from Vancouver and making a return flight out there as Air Canada Flight 8763. This is the only CRJ service to San Diego, which is pretty crazy to say. Moving on to the next aircraft here, a Hawaiian Airlines Airbus A320. That is a pretty mediocre Gemini just released from 2019. It's just okay. And yes, this is the first time in a very long time I've ever featured this model in an airport update. Yes, this model is currently for sale on my eBay page, which you can find a link for that in my channel bio. And yeah. And yes, hopefully engine will release this model soon. I would definitely buy that and replace the Gemini version, but I'm just glad we're able to use this model in another airport update. The last time this model's feature was in the Sacramento airport update, which was about 2 years ago. So yeah, so this Hawaiian A320 Neo has arrived in from KLUV and making a return flight out there as Hawaiian Flight 57. Moving on to the next aircraft, the beautiful Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-MAX 8. Of course, I had to feature in our Southwest model, and this is the first Gemini just released, which is just it's just okay. So yeah, this Southwest 737-MAX 8 is arriving from Oakland at Southwest Flight 3882 and be heading on to Atlanta at Southwest Flight 1585. Alright, moving on to the next one here, we Southwest Boeing 747-700 with a split gunner wings. This is the first arm release number 963 Whiskey November. Another flat out amazing Pan model. So this aircraft is arriving from Reno as Southwest Flight 1941, be heading out to Houston Hobby at Southwest Flight 2377. So those are some pretty cool routes, especially Reno. It's pretty cool that we're able to feature a Reno route. Shout out to Red River Aviation. He does have an amazing Reno airport, and I highly recommend checking it out. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft here with JetBlue Airbus A320-200 in the Spotlight tail. And you know what? Another flat out amazing Pan model, and I'm really glad to have this one. Hopefully Angel will release some JetBlue models soon, especially some more A320s. I'd definitely buy some more and replace some of my Gemini JetBlue models. So yes, so this JetBlue A320-200 has arrived in from Fort Lauderdale and it'll be heading right back out there at JetBlue Flight 530. So yeah, pretty cool JetBlue flights there. Alright, moving on to the next aircraft. Here at British Airways Boeing 777-200 here. He is number 3 for takeoff. And yeah, so he'll be heading out to London Heathrow as British Airways Flight 272. So pretty cool we're able to include this beautiful engine models British Airways 777-200. I'm glad they included this model in a realistic airport update. Moving on to the next one here with Spirit Airlines or A320neo. He is number 2 for takeoff and he'll be heading out to Oakland as Spirit Flight 742. A pretty interesting Spirit route. I'm just surprised they have that route. Then moving on to the final aircraft in this airport update, the 50th model in this airport update. Here are the beautiful engine models Lufthansa Airlines A330-300. And this is operating for an A350. Just because I don't have a Lufthansa A350 yet, hopefully I'll acquire Lufthansa A350 model soon. Hopefully I'll get the NG or Aviation 400 one because those ones are great models. And yeah, so this aircraft will be heading out to Munich as Lufthansa Flight 467. Alright, a little quick edit here by JT Pilot. Yes, I did forget to mention one quick thing. So yes, this airport, they did not include any cargo aircraft just because I don't really have many cargo miles. I only have my 2 prime miles, which will be featured in some random mile airport updates coming up. And I only have 1 UPS mile and 1 Alice mile. So I was like, nah, we're not going to include them in this airport update. So sorry to say that, but yeah, so at San Diego, they do have several cargo lines. They have Amerflight, DHL Aviation. They have FedEx Express, which operates a very short flight up to Tijuana, Mexico, which is one of the shortest flights on FedEx Airlines 757, so pretty cool. And then they have, and then UPS Airlines also flies here. So yeah, so those are some cargo airlines that operate out of San Diego. So a little quick edit there, and let's get back to the video. All right, folks, so that's conclude this 140 scale San Diego model airport update. And this was the third random mile airport update. This was for August 2022, and this was the first random mile airport update for August 2022, because we'll be having another random mile airport update this month. And yes, we'll be proceeding on to the channel update. So yes, we have lots of exciting content coming soon. So yes, another random mile airport update will be out this month, maybe 2 more. We'll have to see. And yeah, so the next Jacksonville Fictional airport update will be coming out on the 22nd, which is the 2-year anniversary. That will be a special airport update, and that is the 21st update as well. So it's gonna be a special update, and I cannot wait to film that video for y'all. And yeah, what else is coming? We do have Massive Unboxing 4, which will be coming very soon, likely either next week or the week after that, of the latest NG models, July 2022 releases, and I cannot wait to receive them. And then then before that, or a little bit after that, we'll be having another review video. It's been a long time since we've done an individual model review, and this will be for the Phoenix models Edelweiss Airbus A340-300. I'm very excited to receive that model. Yes, we'll be having the Instagram outdoor model photos for it, and we'll be having a YouTube review for that model as well. And I cannot wait to film that video. And yes, and then at the end of this month, we'll be having a collection video of all my 148 and 1200 models, and that will be a video you do not want to miss out on. It's going to be a great video. And the next Norfolk International Airport Day will be on the first week of September, so that's basically the little preview to the rest of August and a little bit of early September. And yeah, I just want to conclude summer break off with a bang with my YouTube video, because that'll be going back to September, so far away. And yeah, it's crazy. I'll be a junior very soon, so yeah, crazy to say that. And yes, yes, I do want to address this one thing. So yes, there is a new social platform, or that is a lot of many aviation members are signing up to, which is Vero. And yeah, so yes, so for now, I will not be making a Vero account just because I want to solely focus on Instagram and YouTube to make them to my best ability. I think adding a third social media account would just add more stress to me, and it just make my social media accounts less not as good. They'll still be great, but they won't be as good. So I just want to keep up with my 2 accounts and make them file amazing. I know lots of community members are going over the Vero just because of the crazy Instagram's crazy algorithm, where it doesn't recommend you aviation content. Instead, it recommends you a bunch of random reels and random posts that you don't really care about. So yeah. So pretty unfortunate with Instagram's algorithm. I've been doing really well on Instagram, but I know a lot of people have been struggling on there, and I'm really sorry to those aviation community members that are struggling on there. And hopefully Vero will suit them well. So yes, maybe in the future I'll join Vero, but for now I'm still going to be staying on Instagram and YouTube. But yes, so yeah, so yeah, maybe in the future we'll have to see. So and yeah, so the next random airport update, it will be a smaller airport, but after that, we'll be having another large one similar to San Diego. But I won't tell you which mile airports there will be yet, just because I don't want to spoil some secrets. So, and yes, and these two are community voted airports for the Google form. If you do want to request a random mile airport, I highly recommend checking out the Google form, which is the link. The link for that is in the description below. I've been getting a lot of great requests on there, and hopefully most of your requests will be fulfilled. And yes, and I want to address that real quick. I will only be doing random mile airport dates that I can do with my model collection. I know a couple of people have requested random mile airport dates like Sao Paulo. I can't really do a Sao Paulo airport update just because I don't have the proper miles for it. So unfortunately, that one is scratched. Maybe in the future, but yeah. And yeah, so that does conclude this channel update, and that does conclude this video. So I'm JT Pilot, and I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching this video and attending the premiere, and I'd like to say hello to everyone in chat. So once again, I'm JT Pilot, and I'd like to thank y'all so much for watching this video, and have a wonderful day, and have a wonderful week, and bye.